You tell us when you're on tape and ready to roll, and I'm going to keep an eye on the time, and we'll run this in 5 minutes. Hi, Stanley. I'd like to introduce Stanley James. He's the elder and senior statesman for the Yukon First Nations Party. The House is sitting for its second day in the legislature, and there are many concerns that we have in the Yukon about the actual participation of Yukon First Nations people in the fracking and the Peel development and the pipeline that is proposed up here. So Stanley, could you share with us what you see as the vision of Yukon First Nations people, the possibilities?
Well, I think the main thing is that they have to sit down and talk about what they're doing, these people in the community, because it seems like now that the government seems to be taking that over and controlling everything, the people in the communities need to talk about what they're doing and how our tribal laws will be looked at in the future, because those are some of the things that we need to start doing right now.
Can you speak a little bit about the declaration by the United Nations for the Indigenous right to protect their environment and the people, and to be inherent leaders in all resource and people decisions that are being made in our territory?
Yeah, I didn't know that they had approved the declaration until I looked. And then I thought, gee, this is September, I think September the 14th or something like that, in 2007. And I thought, wow, it's 4 years since they approved it, and nobody's saying anything about it. So I started looking at what we could start doing. And I ordered the declaration from Saskatoon, and then I looked at it and I thought, wow, it really puts us into a position of ownership of all of the resources and the timber and the minerals and the oil and gas and the animals and on our tribal lands. We just need to start bringing out our tribal laws to start doing that, and that's what they said. We can use our tribal codes, our tribal laws, and stuff like that. And so those are some of the things that we talked about before, when we talked about the natural laws that we have. And so if we could start bringing them out, start dealing with it, then we would put these governments on notice that, hey, we're doing these things, we're implementing the United Nations Declaration, and this is how our government operated before you came here.
Now, with the Conservative government with such a high agenda for resource development, what is the recourse for Yukon First Nations? Do you see a possibility in them recognizing the Yukon First Nations Party in this legislature and to start to take the concerns of the Yukon First Nations seriously? And I'm not talking about the leadership, I'm talking about grassroots swell of support that actually built this party.
Well, yeah, those are some of the things that the people have forgotten, those people that don't come to meetings, those are the ones you want sitting down and having tea with and talking to them about what is their goals and objectives they could see coming in the near future. What is it that they can see? And if you did that, you would get away from these people that are trying to take over and control things. Those are some of the things that I think we needed to do, instead of calling meetings and then those people don't come to meetings because they hear it all before. And those are some of the things that we need to do, is to gather up the people that don't go to those meetings to talk about what is their goals and objective for the next 10 years.
Yes. So what is, if you could sum it up in one sentence, what's your message to Yukon First Nations people about the responsibility that we hold presently and stepping into the next 10 years? What if you have one message that you want to share with universally and to gain support from outside of this territory, what would that message be?
Well, I think they need to, I mean, we need to sit down and start looking at what our laws are.
Yes.
We know what they are, but the governments don't know what they are. And that's why we've been ran over by these people for the last 500 years. And so we need to sit down and we need to say, these are the resources we have. We have the water, we have the land, we have the timber, we have the minerals, we have the oil and gas, we have the animals. We have all of these laws in place in our tribal houses, you know, our clan house. I am Dr. Wady. We have a Dr. Wady house that has all those laws in it. We need to start bringing those laws out and start using them. Because if we don't start using those natural laws, then these European laws are going to be trying to take over the whole authority that we as First Nation people have on our tribal lands.
Thank you. Well, I really do believe that the Yukon First Nations will take over this legislature and really provide one pristine area of this world that is actually with the inherent leaders of the territory in place. Thank you, Stanley. Yeah.
So anyway, those are some of the things that we need to talk about. But we need to get those people in the communities to start sitting down and saying, hey, we have a chance here to become part of what it is that the government is doing. Now we have a chance to sit down and start taking over and controlling all of those things. Because if we don't, then you know it's going to come maybe 10, 15 years down the road. But in the meantime, we got to look at all these things that the old people talk about.
Yes.
And I'm of the opinion that we need to start taking some Aboriginal survival training right now.
Yes.
You should know where you can live,
where there's
how
water.
you can live for the next 6 months without running to the store.
Yeah.
You need to say, gee, I need to find out about it. And that's what I'm trying to get across to the people, is that they need to talk about the Aboriginal survival.
Yeah.